Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. In today's video, I thought I would show you number one, two journals that will be for sale in my shop. One of them is this one, in which I created this bag inspired by Rachel from Roxy Creations. I did already do a flip through of this journal. It was in the previous video, I think. So this one is going to be for sale. I just need to add here what I like to have on the last page of all of my journals. So this one is going to be for sale. And then I also have another one for sale, and this is it. I will do a flip through of it, but I'm waiting for this part to dry, this little pocket. And I will show you the kit that I used. It was somebody new to me. It's called the Leaning Willow Vintage Christmas. And when I show you the flip through, you'll see kind of the color palette of it. It's really a fun, kind of very muted color palette. But I want to show you what I like to put on the last page of all of my journals. It is a letter from the journal maker, and if I'm doing a smaller journal like those two, I put 2 to a page. But if it's a big journal, then I also have 1 to a page. It tells you what a journal is used for, what kinds of things you would maybe put in a journal or document. And so I just want to age this up a little bit. And so this is a couple of stamps. I'm not even sure where I got this one from. Let's see. And then now I don't want writing, and this is just kind of like what would be for like ink blotches or messy things. And I noticed there was nothing on this. So the paper I have right here in front of you is some tracing paper, or it's parchment paper. And what I do is just kind of splatter a little coffee on it to give it that aged look. And then I turn it into an envelope. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And now I'm going to add a few little splotches to age this document. Now, what I print this document on is parchment paper. I buy mine at Walmart, and it's the ivory color. So I just put it in a couple of spots. And the reason I don't coffee dye this is because I really don't want it to be wrinkled. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then I'm going to cut it so that it will fit. And I will have actually 2 copies. I'm going to bring this over because that handle will probably bump the camera. And let's see, probably at about there, because I want to make sure I've got, that's perfect, enough room to sign at the bottom of the document. Okay, and then I always sign it. And that's a typical nurse's signature. Okay. And then I'm going to only do one of them. So I fold it up. like this. And let me make sure it will fit into the pocket of this journal. Yes, it will, in that back pocket. So I fold it up like that. And then I take the parchment paper and I fold it up. And sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get it right. And then I fold it like that. Fold this in. That. And then like this. And then I usually fold this over. Out like that. And actually, I'm not going to fold that over like I normally would do. I'm just going to fold it like that. I think that looks neater like that, okay? And then what I do is I take some of my Italian hemp thread. Got a nice big ball here. And I also take an initial. I happen to have a stamp, a wax thread, or not wax thread, a wax, what's it called? A wax stamp. I think those are all the J's and the H's. And I just do a bunch right from the beginning. Now that one might look good, that green. I don't think, well, the red might look. There's J's and H's. I don't think the purple or the blue. We're going to get rid of those. We will see which one looks the best. That one might be good. There's a couple of reds. Okay, we're going to get rid of this. Those colors. I don't think the silver. I just do a bunch at once. There's another gold. That's a deep green. That's almost a teal color. Yeah, I do a bunch at one sitting. There. There. I don't think that. Okay, let's bring in our page, our book, and we'll see which one will look the best. Maybe. That could also work. So that's similar. That's a J and an H. No, I don't think that one. Here's a brown one with silver. I don't think that. That's the not the right green. This is nice and small. That might work. I kind of like that because it's a small little area. Too green. This is smaller than this one. We're going to put that one. Yeah, it's a J and an H. Maybe that's a little bit too bright. Okay, we're going to go. I think we're just going to do this one. I like this little J and H. Ooh, that's pretty too. And that's the same. So what I do is I melt the wax, then I stamp it, and when it's dry, then I take gold wax paste and I color it a little bit. Okay, so it's between these two. And let's just slip it in here. That's perfect. Is that too big? I don't think so. I like the darker. We're going to go with the darker color. Yeah. Okay. So then what I do is I lay it where I want it to go. Then I take some of my hemp thread and some double-sided tape. And I put just a little bit on the back of that waxed stamp to hold that piece of hemp thread in place. Okay, that's where I want it. And so I kind of want it off to the side here. And let's see. I thought I had my little pokey tool here, but maybe my fingers will do it. Nope, it's not. Oh, there it is. Bring in my little pokey tool. Well, I hope everyone is doing great. The weekend was good, kind of low key. I think I told you I had watched the grandkids. And then the mom and dad came home on Saturday night. Now, the other thing I do to give it some height so that the twine can wrap around there easily, I cut out some little circles and I double them up. Okay, let's see here if I've got any that would work. Maybe I didn't. They need to be small. A gold one might look cool, but I need them to be thick. Here's one. There's a little gold one. I think the smaller ones. I usually try to do a bunch at once, but of course I don't have any here. There, well, so I'm going to show you what I do, because maybe you don't know this little trick. You can also take Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. That would also work, but I think I want to use this color, and it's got to be the bigger circle. So let me pull out. I think this is going to be the good size here, and I'm going to get some Very Vanilla, which is a kind of ivory colored cardstock. Okay, let's see if 4 is going to be tall enough. You want it to be elevated a little bit. Yeah, I think that'd work. Let's glue these together. So just add just a tiny little bit of glue, and then one on top of each other. And that will hide that string and the double-sided tape. And then we will ink around it ever so slightly. It's not dried yet. It's kind of sliding around. There, it's better. I can tell already. It's catching. So yeah, I had just a very low-key weekend. Of course, Sunday was church. I did some sewing. I will show you guys real quick the journal for myself. And let's just do a little pause here so that I can mention this so I don't forget it. I'm going to pull that off to the side. Now, when Rachel did her bag, she sewed her fabric onto the bag, and then and she did her decorative stitching. To me, that was going to be too cumbersome for me. So I've done it differently. I've taken my fabric and I did my decorative stitching. And what I've done here, I just want to show you. Let's bring it up and look at that thread painting I did for that bird. That's for my journal. And then this is some Battenberg tablecloth that I used in the background. Then I did a little bit of a blanket stitch. I'm not sure if I'm done with it yet, but I'm going to complete all of my stitching. And then after I've done all the stitching is when I will come in with the bag and I will lay it over the top, and then I will stitch it onto the bag, because you have to bring your hand inside. And to do all this thread painting here, I wouldn't be able to do it with this, my hand going in there. So it was easier to have this separate and then just do the thread painting. And then that's all of the back thread. So I did mine a little bit different. Either way is good. You're going to be fine either way you do it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I like to then put this on so that it raises it up a little bit. And I think besides glue, I might also put a little bit of double-sided tape. We'll put a tiny bit up at the top and another little bit at the bottom. And then we will also put a little bit of glue too. And my pokey tool got put where? Sometimes I do put things back where they're supposed to go so that I don't have to do this kind of thing, searching for them, but it was off to my right. So then let me just pull off the double-sided tape. That was already kind of sticking. And I'm going to do the art glitter glue as opposed to the Beacon's 3-in-1 glue, just because this will stick quicker. I'll lay that there. And then we're going to glue it on there. And actually, I should put a clip on there. But I'm going to be impatient here. Then I add some glue there, and I have it off to the side. let me just do this so that I don't get any glue on that sheet. There we go. And then when you have it over, it's not glued to there. Let that sit for just a second. Put this back. And so then it's got a place for you to wrap the thread around. And I'm not going to pull tight because I don't want to pull that out, but I want it long enough so that it'll wrap around there. Now what I'm going to do is just set this off to the side for a minute and do a flip through of the journal. The other thing I want to tell you about is I did a little bit something different when I bound it. Now I did a video where I showed you how to do this slip knot binding, but I did one more step. After I did each slip knot, I tied a knot at the end, and then I did another slip knot, and then I tied a knot, and then another slip knot and tied a knot. I think that made it a little bit more sturdy. But let me show you this journal. And what I will do is bring you in just a tiny bit so you can see these pretty images. Probably at about like there. What I did on this first page here is I added some Nuvo drops just to give a little bit of dimension and to put some sparkle on the tree. For this top one, I put a little bit of the gold. And I only put in one pocket per page just because the images were so pretty. I did not want to cover them up. And you guys have heard me say before, I leave my back part of my tags and journal cards blank because I actually journal in my journals, and I want you to have that option. If you wanted to add something, script or something, or decorative paper on there, you could, but I like a place so that I can actually journal. So we've got that little tag there. And then here we have a flip out. And then you would also be able to journal there. Here I've added just a little bit of lace in the background, this image here, a little tag to hang on to, and I adhered that with washi tape. You've heard me say before, I add glue to my washi tape because I want to make sure it adheres well. Here I created this little pocket using green velvet ribbon, and then this little card. On this side, I created a side pocket with this beautiful lace. Can you see it? It is of a Christmas tree and it's gold. Isn't that beautiful lace? And then I created this little card that says, I think it says Happy New Year in Italian. I think that's what it is. And then on this page, I did a flip out. Now this is the image. I think this one actually is from Tracy Fox. I think this image is from her kit, one of her kits. But I just gave you a big spot to be able to journal on. I adhered it again with washi tape, 3 different pieces. It folds in and then folds over, and then I attached this side with a larger piece of washi tape. On this page, I have this small little postcard here. I added a stamp here, a little bit of washi tape there, a tab there. I created this top-loading pocket and added a little bit of lace there, gold trimmed lace. It's got this beautiful pine cone in the background. On this page, there's this pretty little pocket with this tag and some gold ribbon up at the top. I did not go overboard with decorating this one. I thought you guys could decorate it a little bit more if you wanted to. If you wanted to add more pockets, you could. I added a little bit of washi tape here, this embossed corner tuck with this journaling card, a little bit of lace up here at the top, a little bit of washi there. Here again, using some velvet ribbon, I created this top-loading little pocket area with this image. And I put a little bit of French book page in the background there and then glued that over the top. I added a little bit of washi tape here and a little bit of washi tape there. And once again, here is a lot of writing space. On this page here, again, it's a flip out with an index card, a little bit of washi tape to hold it down, a tab, and I added some background paper. I think this is just some red. It may be actually some straw paper that's in the red color, but I tripled layered it. So it's the index card, then a layer of the red straw paper, and then that image over the top of it. It just made it pop more. On this page, it is a wraparound pocket. In here, I added this menu, and this is in my Etsy store, these menus. I did a little bit of board punch up at the top. It is for a royal family of Sweden. It's a menu. This is from the 1800s. I backed it with some coffee-dyed paper and created this little pocket, added this little set of girls on the front of it. I created the pocket out of French book page, and then it wraps around. And then we have another little tag in which I just added some very simple lace on there, and then a small little image there. We have a side tuck here with a journaling card. Again, I had this image, then I layered another. I think this is some Stampin' Up cardstock, and then just a plain piece of coffee dyed paper for you to write on. Here's a top loading pocket in which I used some lace. I think that was probably from Hobby Lobby. And then this pretty little journaling card with just a tab. Aren't these images just so pretty? Here is a vellum pocket in which I embossed it, and then I added some waxed paste over the top. This is an original postcard. It was not written on. I added a postage stamp there and then a little tab. We have a side pocket here. This is some German book page here. This is an image from a Christmas book, and I just added a little gold fabric tab for you to be able to pull it out. And then on this last page is a belly band. And what I like to do is sandwich some lace in between the journaling spot and the image itself. And just slide that in. The lace really does help it from slipping out of there and falling. Okay, and now let's see if this is done. Now, this, I'm not sure if I want to keep that like that. I don't know if it needs the color with it, you know, some burgundy, but for now I'm going to leave it. So what I do is, once again, I bring my Italian hemp thread around and then circle it, and then it just fits right into that pocket. And that is the journal there. Now, this one does not have a bag for it. I don't think I have time to create a bag for it. And I'm still debating whether to put any bells or jingles on it. I might leave that up to you guys. But anyway, that's how I like to finish off my journals. I always like to have a letter from me to the recipient telling them, you know, what this journal is for, how to use it. And I think it just finishes off the journal. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. And like I said, this journal will be in my shop, and this one with this bag will be in my shop. So there will be 2 of them available. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.